Hey y'all, Rachel Crawford here. Welcome to my studio. I am making some little pamphlet style books out of tea boxes. So I am a really avid tea drinker. I always have a cup of tea in hand, and I like to save the boxes. I also, something that I do, I will show you real quick, is, call me crazy, but I save the tea bags after I have brewed a cup. I let the bag dry out and then meticulously open it, get all the tea leaves out, and I dry the bags. These are great for all kinds of things, collage, bookmaking, you name it. So I do like to put tea bags inside of the books. So I have not sewn any of these together yet. I will show you that at the end of this video, but I wanted to just show you what I am making. These are doilies. I also love doilies. I collect doilies. Here's my stash of small doilies. I also have like giant ones, and I will use them in art, collage, all kinds of things. And they're just sweet to fold in half and put in a little tea book. So here's a whole bunch of them. I'll show you a couple of the covers. They're just fun, sweet little mementos. I use them myself, and I also like to gift them. This one had, oh, I thought it had stuff on the other side, a little quote. So this one I'll sew together, and it'll be like a little flip book. So I just wanted to talk you through my process of going about like measuring and cutting the paper. So this really, it's not so much about, you know, making recycled books, though it is. It's really about the process, just basic bookbinding. So this is drawing paper that I purchase in a really large pack. It's 12 by, I can't remember. Let me see if I can see really quickly the size. 12 by 18 single sheets of drawing paper. And I like to cut multiples at the same time. So I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sheets. I make sure they're stacked really good. And on my measuring mat, I just line up the edges really, you know, at least straight on 2 edges. I kind of check the paper. It's not always cut perfectly, so that's okay. Just know that going in. So here I've got this cool box. I know it's a little wonky, but I kind of like the wonkiness of it. I really just didn't want to cut the rainbow part off, so that's why I'm gonna use it just like this. And I might even let some of my page edges stick out. So what I do is I measure both ways. It looks like this front is 3, so I'm just going to tack on another 3, call it 6 for the width. And then the height, this is almost 5.5. I want the pages to fit inside and be a little less, so I'm going to cut it at 5.25. Okay, so 5.25 by 6 is what I need to cut out of my paper here. So I like to maximize my paper. I know that this is 12 and I want to cut 6. So I'm going to cut all the way across on 5 1/4 and then cut this in half so that I have just the same exact thing on the other side. You know why? A lot of the boxes are standard, so I can actually save the other half of what I'm about to cut for another book cover later. So I am going to double check myself. Sometimes I triple check myself. 5 1/4. So I'm just going to measure 5 1/4, get my ruler. I'm going to tell you, I like a metal ruler with a cork back. The cork helps keep the ruler in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1/4. I'm just triple, double, triple checking myself. Here's my triple check. I come here with the cover and I actually lay it down to make sure it looks good, and it does. And so now I'm going to cut. I am cutting through all 8 sheets. I am using a heavy duty utility knife as opposed to a X-Acto blade or craft knife. It's just more durable. Sometimes the tips of these snap, and I don't like that. They'll get stuck in the paper, stuck in your mat, pain in the butt. So I like a good heavy duty utility knife. So I'm pushing down with all of my weight into this ruler, to hold the ruler down. And I am going to cut. I'm just going to make multiple passes, and most important is holding this blade straight up and down, not on an angle. If I cut on an angle, then I'm going to have this whole stack is going to be bevel edged, and they won't all be the same nice smooth cut all the way through. So holding the blade straight up and down, I make multiple passes. I will scoot the pages off to the side once I know I've cut some. It usually takes about 3 or 4 passes. I think I just went all the way through, and I did. Okay. So that is my first cut. Second cut will be cutting all of this directly in half. So I am lining up again. I'm going to get this pretty much right. So now I'm making sure I am straight on both sides, straight here, because I am about to cut this directly in half at 6, which is right here. I'm going to double check myself on this measurement. Let's see, this goes this way. Perfect. And cutting again, holding straight up and down. And I am through. Okay, so I've got 2 sets of 8 exactly the same. I will save a set for later, and this set I am going to fold in half. And I want to show you the folding. There is a, I hate to say a proper way, but kind of sort of a proper way to fold. And that is, if you want to get it super precise, let me get my glasses on, super precise, you fold and make sure that everything is lined up, and you hold here with one hand and you pull down the center, and then you crease from side to side. And what that does is it secures your, it secures that you're gonna stay straight here because you're locking it in place and going from side to side. I actually love folding paper in half and could do this for hours. I have done it for hours, actually. Back in the day when I was kind of full-time making books and selling them at markets and festivals, which y'all, that is a great way to get started in your career. Making anything is doing festivals and markets, and I would make, 200 books a year, handmade books a year. So I was doing a lot of paper folding, and it was so relaxing. I would spend a couple hours a day folding paper. So once you have all your pages folded, you nest them together. So I nest them like this, and I count them out. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to make sure that I have the right amount. Kind of stamp them together, tighten them, getting them super tight. And then I'll pop them inside to make sure that they fit really good, and they do. And I've got a little poking out, which is what I wanted. This is like a wacky little book, but I like it. This is one I'll probably keep for myself just because it is wacky. And I really just like the rainbow. I like how it's like decorative on the outside and the inside. Oh, I've got these. This is going to make, these covers are going to make a fun one because the inside of the box, look how fabulous the inside of the box is. And this is one of my, these are actually 2 of my favorite tees by Taylor's. So I've got to fold these up. So I just have them ready. A lot of times I will, oh, I just got everything out of order. So nothing's been sewn together yet. So I like to work assembly line style, where I will cut, fold, stack them all together. Like this is a whole stack. This is a stack that needs, like all of these need sewing. So I'll just work assembly line and do a lot of the same things all at one time. Let the projects kind of pile and then sew them all together like as the last step. So let me show you the sewing process now. Okay, let's sew a couple of these together. So let me start with this one to start. So I'm gonna pull, so I've got a doily in the front and a doily in the middle, but I am gonna pull out both doilies just so I can measure without the doilies in my way. Okay, so get a ruler, and you can mark with a pencil if you want. A lot of times I just make a little indentation with my paper piercer. So my book is about 4.5 inches. It's a little more than that, but I am just gonna kind of guesstimate. So you want to find the center of your book. So mine is 4.5, which I know is going to be 2 1/4. So at the 2 1/4, I am just making a mark, and I will show you this in a second. Then I'm going to come in. When my book is small, I like to come in 1/2 inch. So I'm going to mark at 1/2 inch from each edge. So from this edge inwards, I'm marking 1/2 inch. Okay. So all I did was just mark by lightly pressing a hole. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch all the way through in all 3 spaces. So mind your fingers. I just hold it and push through. I am here. Sometimes you just gotta wiggle and jiggle it. Go slow. Go slow. Take your time. There's no rush. Okay, so now I've got 3 holes punched through the whole text block, just the text block for now. Okay, so now I am going to place my doilies in place. And I don't like punching through the doilies to begin with because they're just very delicate. So if you weren't doing doilies, you would just move on to the next step. But you know, when I'm doing these little tea box books, I like the doilies. So I am just finding my center hole and then going through again just to punch through the little doilies. And this one here, I can see it doesn't need because it's going through a hole, so I'm not going to worry about that one. And let me flip-see this. This is the same. I'm going through a hole and a hole. Okay. So at least I've got that center. Where's my cover? Here we are. Okay. Oh, have you ever had PG Tips? Oh, y'all, it's the best. It's the best black tea. Okay. So I now am taking my text block and I'm putting it in the cover. And because my cover is ever so slightly larger than the text block, I'm just making sure that this is centered inside of this. So I've got it all nested together. Now I'm going to punch through again to get a hole into my cover. And you could do all of this in one big go. I just, for precision reasons, I just like to do it this way. This is just my little OCD way of bookbinding. Okay, so I have got holes through everything. I like to just rest my paper piercer in the middle. I could have cut, let's see, now I've got to decide on ribbon. Oh, I'm going to go with red for sure. I just called this ribbon. It's waxed linen. I am doing this early in the morning. So my brain isn't 100% awakened yet. Though I do have well, it's not tea this morning, y'all. I'm having coffee. I do like to have a cup of coffee in the morning. Okay. Oh, wait. I was jibber-jabbering and didn't even tell you what I did. Okay, so your wax linen length, you want it to be 3 lengths of your book, right? So let me just show you how I measured that out because I know I can use that on another book. Okay, so take your wax linen, your thread, whatever, and you are going to measure 1 and then pull it again, 2 and 3. Okay, give you a tiny bit extra, like an inch or 2. Chop that off, all right? So 3 lengths of your spine is what you're doing, top to bottom of your book. I have a tapestry needle here. The reason I like tapestry needles is because they are blunt. They're sharp, but they're blunt. So a blunt needle is going to go through your hole smoother than a super sharp, regular sewing needle. So definitely get a tapestry needle. All you do is you thread it through a tiny bit. Like I have this is like what, a 1.5 inch tail, and the rest is super long. So there's no knotting anything, and you'll see why. So I start in the center, go through the inside of the book to the outside in the middle, leave yourself a tail. Sometimes I hold it so that I don't pull it through because that can happen. So now I'm on the outside of the book. Now you're just going to pick, it doesn't matter which hole you choose to go through, top or bottom. Just pick one and go through from the outside to the inside. Sometimes you got to give it a little wiggle to get it to come through. Be careful if you're using doilies so you don't tear one. Ooh, because they're so delicate. Okay, and then pull. I almost lost my tail. So I'm gonna pull my tail back through. Now I'm on the inside. I'm going to go all the way across to the hole on the opposite side, punch through, pull. Now I'm on the outside again, and I am gonna go back through the center hole. What is important here is you don't want to go through and split this thread you already have through. So I like to pull this tail, hold it off to this side because the thread is looping through this way. So I am just pulling it off to this side of the hole. Then I'm going to take this and I am going to go through without, it just assures that you're not going to punch through that thread. This is another reason why I like a blunt needle. Your chances of splitting your thread is less with a blunter needle. Okay, now that I'm through the middle, I make sure that I've got a tail on either side of this center line. So now I'm going to flip the book over. I am going to tighten these two by pulling them in this direction. And then I'm going to flip and I'm going to pull these tails, which tightens everything. Now you're going to do a basic box knot. So, and if you technically with waxed linen, you do not have to do a second one. Like I just did one. The wax on this is what holds the knot together. But I like to do two because that's just me and my OCD security. So once you've got your box knot or just your one single knot, chop, I like to leave about 3/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. And voila, y'all, your book is sewn together. Now, I do this because I'm just kind of, I wiggle it around just to get, it just moves everything around, like kind of getting all the pages in place, secured, that kind of thing. So here's what we have. You open to the doily, you've got your pages, my doily in the middle, the back end of the book with a doily. Now, super important, we want the books to lay flat, right? So here's some that I have done that are laying flat. So this one, I actually I used the fold. So both sides have the fold. So it's basically the whole box. Like I just cut the box and left it as is because the whole box was just beautiful and I didn't want to get rid of the castle. So, just get creative with it. Do as you wish. I put a big doily in the front. I've got some graph paper in the center. Like it goes from blank paper to graph paper, back to blank paper, and then your doily in the middle. But here's the thing. This book, I did just kind of discombobulate it because I folded the covers. But I'll show you on this one. It pretty much lays flat. And that is because I put it under weight. So anytime you sew any book together, you want to weight that book. I have house bricks. This is a 5-pound, building brick, house brick that I wrap in paper, tape it up really good so that none of the powder, because they're flaky, powdery, comes out. And I just put it on top of my books. I set them aside and I let them sit for a good 24 hours, 2 days, whatever. You can check them and make sure. So for example, I made these yesterday and they only sat under for 24 hours. They need longer because they have not pressed themselves down. And it's because I packed these out with pages. I think instead of like 6 pages, I put 8 pages or something like that. So these need to go in the press as well. So you can double stack You can stack like this one. This one's going to take a little longer also. Remember this one? I think I talked about this one in the beginning with the rainbow. See how it came out? It's just fun. So when you're stacking them, another little tip is stack them like opposite spines. They just stack better that way. And do make sure that they're just kind of in line with one another. And so I will let this sit. Sometimes I will put another brick on top so that it's 10 pounds of weight. If you don't have bricks, just use heavy books. That's all you got to do is heavy books. So I hope you found this fun, and just I hope it gave you some other ideas. So this book here, this was the top of a pasta box. It was Italian pasta. I got the box at Costco. This was just so beautiful, and I loved just the lettering, the design, that I was like, you know, I'm gonna make a book out of it. So that's what this was. Obviously the tea, and then this, y'all. I have recently discovered poppy soda, and it's delicious. Poppy soda is delicious. This was the Christmas box. So I actually have, this is also part of the same box. This book has not been put together yet. But I just thought it was fun, and I knew that if I take this and I fold it in half, it was gonna be super cute. And same as this, I just think it's fun. And it just makes a fun, easy little, this one I love putting graph paper in the middle, because if you're an artist, drawing on graph paper, or even if you are one of those, what do they call it, bullet journal people, the graph paper, I think bullet journal people also use graph paper. I mean, who doesn't love graph paper? Graph paper is just fun. So, okay, enough. I think you got the point. I hope this inspired you. I hope it has opened your eyes to see things differently, see packaging differently. If you see a package that you like, or if it's a product of something that you really like and enjoy, can you save it? Can you turn it into a book? Can you make something with it? So these make great gifts too, especially if it's like, if you know somebody loves Poppy, what a fun little present to give to them. So happy saving your stuff, recycling, and creating, y'all.